Now, my number one is also the world's number one. It has the strongest venom of any snake. And this sleek-looking snake is a fierce snake or inland taipan. Now, they eat rats and they live in the black soil plains of southwestern Queensland. And they need their venom to be so strong because food doesn't come along all that often. And when it does, they need to make sure it counts. So over time, that venom has evolved to be as strong as it is. And they're that confident in it that when they bite a rat, they'll let it go and let it run off and die. And they'll track it down with their smell. Our taipan venom has a number of components, but what makes it so strong is the neurotoxins, the brain's ability to talk to the body. And its venom aims to knock down and kill fast. It's time to put him away. Whoa, buddy, settle down. That jaw drop there, that's a gape. And he was looking straight back at me without the hook there. Now, he's a pretty quiet snake generally, and taipans are. A bit of a favourite of mine, but for a minute there, he was cranky. This is a Tassie tiger snake. I've been looking for a while, finally found one. And they come in a whole range of colours. This one's pretty dark, a slaty grey. And this is the 4th most toxic snake in the world. Well, it has the 4th strongest venom of any snake. That's pretty impressive. Certainly enough in there to kill a few grown men. Now, they're dark in Tassie because it's cold down here. It's a very cool climate. And they need to be dark to absorb the sun's heat when it's out. Where are you going there, mate? Tiger snake's got to be one of my favourite snakes. In captivity, they're calm, they're quiet. But when they need to, they mean business. Big head, big venom glands, good fangs, good delivery system, and an incredibly strong venom to back it up. Full of character and attitude. That's what makes them one of my favourites. Now, tiger snakes are opportunistic predators. They eat a lot of reptiles and amphibians, skinks and frogs. But they'll take baby birds, mammals, and that venom is incredibly strong. They have a strong anticoagulant. Now, basically, that thickens your blood, turns it to jelly, and you're likely to go into cardiac arrest. That, coupled with some powerful neurotoxins that are sending your body into paralysis, mean one bite, it's game over. All right, I'll let him go. There you go, matey. Thank you. That's a king cobra. That's why they scare me. It's the largest venomous snake in the world. I've got one with an eye problem, and he's not happy. Called King of the Jungle, this 5-metre king cobra is one of the world's most dangerous snakes. He's also my least favourite patient. So this examination requires the master, the owner of the Australian Reptile Park, and my boss, John Weigel.
What's the problem?
Look at that right eye. He's got the skin stuck.
Right. And so is it causing him some problems, or is he...
Look, he's been continually trying to get it off. He shed well otherwise, but he's been trying to get it off, and, you know, for the guys, he's been a bit worked up.
Okay, well, we can have a look.
The king has a piece of skin stuck over his eye, or a retained spectacle. It happens from time to time with snakes. They shed their skin. In some cases, it gets stuck on. This particular snake is normally cool, calm and placid, but with that piece of skin stuck on his eye, he's a different animal. He's blind in one eye, and that makes him very dangerous for us and critical that the skin comes off. But before the scale can be removed, John has the dangerous task of catching the cobra.
I'm going in.
All right. I wouldn't say that he's mad. He knows what he's doing, but he's crazy to the point of view that, look at the size of that thing.
Picking up a king cobra is scary. There's no doubt about that. I'm painfully aware that if the snake has enough latitude, it can easily turn around and bite. And it will be a highly venomous bite. Okay.
Just watch your legs. I'm about to come face to face with one of the world's most dangerous snakes, the king cobra. If master handler John Weigel can catch it.
The biggest problem is that there's so much snake here to work with, in such a small area. Okay,
After several attempts, John's finally pinned down the cantankerous cobra.
So I need some help before he wraps around. Now, a nice little safe early move might be to see if we can get him to expend some of that venom.
Oh, look at that.
Holy moly.
If somebody does get bitten, there's going to be a lot less venom that's put in than before he was milked. So now it's actually time to get that stuck eyelid off.
How's that? Can you see him?
Yep, that's good. So there it is. Oh, sorry, buddy. It's going to feel better in a minute.
Got it. Oh, wow.
Look at that. Imagine that stuck over your eye. I've now removed the scale, but I suspect that the cobra may have another piece of skin covering his eye. I think there's one more. The eye's very opaque. There we go. Look at that.
Wow, you're right.
2.
Wow.
Hey?
That's nuts.
It's pretty rare that we'd get one piece of skin stuck on the eye. This time we had 2. Yep, we got it, mate. Let's get out.
Yeah, I think you did well.
Now comes the risky part, releasing this cranky cobra without getting bitten.
Okay, we ready with the door, guys?
Yeah.
Okay, no hard feelings, mate.
Nothing behind you? Big snake.
Big snake. Yeah.
Look at that.
Golly.
How many bodies in there?
Certainly enough to kill a small army. So
Yeah.
better in there than in your arm, I think. Today went very well. We have a successful operation in that the spectacles are removed. So I feel very good about today's outcome.
Hey, King Brown. Oh, can you take these? Yeah, mate. Oh, look at that. Look at the size of it. This is a good find. I mean, look at this beauty. We're in an area riddled with toads, cane toads. King Browns have suffered a lot with toads, and to find a breeding snake like this, a mature adult snake, just a special find. These guys, big snakes, and they eat almost anything. Amphibians, reptiles, mammals, birds. You see the coloration. Not so much on the belly, but on the back, a light tanny brown. I mean, look at this environment where we found it. It's exactly the same colour, so to cruise through that, almost undetectable, because a small king brown, good prey for a black kite or a bird of prey. And these guys are Australia's largest venomous snake. And with a head like that, big venom glands, they put so much venom into a bite. You do not want to get bitten by one of these guys. Time for this beauty to go off on his merry way, and hopefully he won't eat a cane toad for dinner. That's a girl. Settle down. What a snake. Look at that. This snake comes in at number 10 in the venom ranking, and it's a little favourite of mine. It's a death adder, and they're a pretty remarkable snake. They're found throughout most of Australia, and they're a bushwalker's nightmare, and I'll show you why. This death adder right now is doing exactly what they do in the wild. The body's buried, the head's just sitting proud of the substrate, and that little tail there is flicking, and that's a lure. Let's have a look what he does. He's a bit cranky there. Look how big that body is, how fat it is. And that would have been concealed under leaves, just that head and tail sticking out. Come on, mate. The death adder is a true ambush predator. It uses its lure that looks like a worm, wiggles it around, and a bird, frog, or gecko comes in, and whack! It's got one of the fastest strikes of any snake on Earth. At number 10, its venom is strong and contains potent neurotoxins and some procoagulants. The neurotoxin mean the brain can't talk with the body. That's going to send you into paralysis. Now, the procoagulants thin your blood. It means your blood can't clot and you're likely to have an internal bleed. Big problems. Today at the Australian Reptile Park, my staff and I are preparing for an extremely dangerous capture. Okay, well, let's be safe and... Okay, we'll meet you around the front, guys. Atomic Betty, our gigantic reticulated python, has a large lump on her back. She has to be caught so we can get a closer look at what it is. There is no easy way to catch Atomic Betty. She's one of the most dangerous animals here at the reptile park. If she gets a coil around someone, she will crush them. So we have to get keepers on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and straighten her out so she can't constrict. If it goes wrong, someone could get crushed or bitten. You'll know what to do. 2, 1. Good boys. In. Keep that coil off. Head up. Head up.
Very good.
Okay. Everyone grab on. Feed her out. Feed her out. Feed her out. Atomic Betty is a member of the largest python species on Earth. Now, at her size, a bite, teeth are 1 centimetre long, serious cuts, and if she gets a coil around you, you'll hear ribs pop. This is serious. Hold on. Watch that head, mate. Yeah. Everyone good?
Yeah.
Okay. It's been an epic struggle, but finally we've got our 6.5 metre python under control. Okay, so bring that bag in, Kay. Carolyn, you can help Kay, please. So over there. Yep, open it right up. Tail's gonna go in first. Start to bring the bag a bit closer, guys. Mickey, you'll count us.
Right.
3, 2, 1, go. Beauty. Now wrap her up. Atomic Betty is one of the reptile park favourites. To think that there's something wrong with her, I don't like it and it worries me.
Excuse us, guys. Cheers, thank you.
We're moving her to a safe area for examination. Now she's agitated, so when we open up that sack, she'll be ready to strike. The danger's real with Atomic Betty. The first year I ever caught her, I was about 1 metre away and there was another keeper. She launched at us both and a couple of her teeth caught his fingernail and it was like watching a hot knife go through butter, blood everywhere. We need to be aware of that and manage her very, very safely. We're right, guys, so I'm gonna grab Head from out of the bag. Yep. Okay, now there's only 4 of us, so let's go up and out. Yep, up. You're good, mate. Just watch out how close. Whoa, whoa, whoa. You got her, mate? Just take her over to your left there.
Yeah, like we can go down so she's on the ground.
Okay, that's nice. Oh, look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty serious. I'm really worried about that, mate. I can see that and feel that there's bone. I mean, it's raised, so she needs to go to the vet. All right, guys, let's get her back in now, softly, gently.
That's it.
Whoop. Honor. We're good. That's almost in. You 2 boys on the head. Atomic Betty's never been to the vets before. She's not the type of animal that you can just catch and carry down to the vets. But this is serious, and I need to do it. Oh, that's it, bottom of the bag. And then nice and soft. Here we go. Righto, we're going to wheel this up. Mike, can you get Van? Mate. One thing we don't want is for this to lead to an operation. Hey. Apart from anything else, anaesthetics are dangerous and not often used on reptiles. Atomic Betty is a big, beautiful snake, and surgery would be a nightmare. Hello, mate.
Afternoon, Timmy. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How are you?
What's happening?
We've come down to the vets with Atomic Betty, our 11-year-old reticulated python. I hope you got her. Yep, good. She's got a large lump on her back, and I'm hoping Dr. Peter Nosworthy can provide some answers to what has caused this massive swelling.
So we're mid-back with this. Do we have to get her all the way out, do you think?
I think she'll be better up there because it's just better for us with restraint. Okay, now keep coming a little. Here we go. Comes up now, Pete. That's it. So once that's flat, let's keep her there.
She got a bony bump.
What is it?
Oh, what's bone? Well and truly.
What's your first?
Oh, well, first impression's a worry. Touching Betty's lump, I'm concerned that she suffered a fractured vertebrae in her back and that there's the potential to her to be paralysed from that point backwards. We need to have a look at the spine to see whether we've got a straight line vertebrae for a start, that there's no disarticulation.
Yes.
Appreciate that if that's the case, then we've got impingement on the cord.
Yes.
And from there backwards, we're going to have nerve issues.
So what are we going to do now?
Yeah, I want to take an X-ray, if that's all right with
Yeah,
you guys.
sure. We might just carry her through while she's out.
Yeah, if you're up for that, that's good.
Right. We got the way back here. I'm really nervous. My stomach's in knots. And that's because the worst case could unfold. Bit more, Mickey. A little bit more, mate. Okay, that's us. Yep, we're good there. But if these results are bad and she has a broken back, that could end in paralysis. And that's the end of Betty. We don't want that to happen.
X-rays happening, guys. 1, 2, go. Okay.
Good. Tommy Betty's a really important part of the Australian Reptile Park. She is so loved that for anything to be wrong would be horrible.
We haven't got a lot to smile about, Tim. She has a crack in a vertebrae. Okay. Okay, you can see this is bone. Yep. That bone should be sitting low. You can see how the vertebrae come up there. That should be sitting. Same as this, they're all sitting next door to each other.
Yep.
That one's sitting up in the air, yep. Which means that we have got some pressure on the underside of the spinal cord.
So, Pete, now, are we still looking at a real risk of paralysis?
Oh, without a doubt, yeah. We are looking at a risk of paralysis. So if it's left to its own devices, it's left calm, quiet, it may well cement up beautifully. Yep. Yeah, and it's like having a fused joint then. Yep. That would be what we're after.
Yep.
Pete's told me it'll take 6 months for the bones to heal, and we have to follow strict instructions to ensure her well-being.
So for Betty, we've got no climbing, rest, small meals, and the pain-relieving drugs.
Well, I'm not sure whether that's good news or bad news. I guess it could have been worse.
Could have been a lot worse.
It could have been worse. I'm really happy that we brought her here today because till we got those x-rays, we couldn't know the severity of the injury. So, you know, we could have been on a knife's edge where she was about to become paralysed, and maybe by not feeding her big items now and the couple of things we're going to implement, we saved her. OK, let's go.
Back at the reptile park, and it's straight into her enclosure for Betty.
She's heavy.
It'll be another year before she needs to be handled again. We'll reduce her food intake, and hopefully we'll see signs of improvement.
It's been a big day for Betty and keepers. But now we know what's wrong with her, and we know what we've got to do to fix it. For now, she needs some rest. OK, that's it. All right, Betty. Righto, darling. That was a big day. All you got to do is get better now. Whoa, look at that. We got a snake. Just get a little stick. Come here, little fella. Oh, he's off. Come here, mate, settle down. I'm pretty sure it's a Mitchell's short-tailed snake. Pretty sure. He's got a bright red tongue, redder than most snakes you'd see. Now, they're venomous, they pack a punch. Maybe not lethal, but enough that I do not want to get bitten. Hey, pal. Hey, buddy. Hey. Ah, beautiful. A new species for me. I'm really happy about that. Now, these smaller snakes, just like our mammals, they fall prey to foxes and cats. To find him here is a good sign. He's a little elapid, front-fang venomous. He'd be feeding on skinks and geckos that also live on this rock flat. Look at that tongue, going crazy. Now, he doesn't think that there's food. He's sniffing out if I'm a threat, if I'm gonna eat him or not. I'm not gonna eat you, mate. Now, be it a elapid, front-fang venomous, he grabs onto something like a skink or a gecko, whacks that venom in, waits for it to die and swallows it whole. Australia's got so many of these small venomous snakes. To find one that I've never seen before, that's just a bonus. The important thing is, put him right back where I found him. Hey, buddy, hey. Don't you open that mouth at me. That's a great find. I'm gonna put him right back where he was. Okay, now this is his home. First, I'll fix it. And you can go back, matey. Right where you were. That got the heart pumping. What a find.
This great land of ours is renowned as being home to some of the world's most dangerous animals. Stories about snakes devouring wallabies, crocs that swim up our streets, spiders that lie in wait under toilet seats, and sharks that hunt down surfers is how the rest of the world think we live day to day.
In reality, there's 23 million of us, and most live in urban areas. And nearly everyone will have little to no contact with these deadly critters in their lifetime.
There's a whole lot of land in the outback for our wildlife to roam. And that is exactly what they want to do.
Especially the ones with the greatest potential to cause us harm.
We have 20 out of 25 of the world's most venomous snakes. But here's something that will surprise many. Without fail, every single one of them would rather flee in the opposite direction than confront us.
You have to remember, until 50,000 years ago, a mere blip in evolutionary history, the wildlife here had never met humans.
What their instincts tell them is that something heavy enough to vibrate the ground they lay on probably wasn't potential prey. In fact, it would more likely be something to fear, so the safest bet was to slither away or hide. And that's exactly what they'd rather do with an approaching human. They certainly don't bite out of malice. So when you hear of someone being bitten, in many cases it's probably due to them trying to corner or handle the snake or even kill it. And often they're intoxicated.
So why does Australia have such a lethal array of venomous snakes? One theory puts it simply. Australia is a harsh continent and snakes develop venom as a tool to help with killing prey and digestion.
Our venomous snakes hunt in different ways, and it's down to the confidence they have in their own venom that decides how they go about it. Some, like the death adder, have taken the easy option and become ambush predators.
Death adders live in country just like this, and they bury themselves under the leaf litter, just their head, eyes and tail with a lure. They wiggle that tail. When unsuspecting prey comes along, bang, they'll grab it. Now, adders also have a large bulbous head with long fangs, and when they bite onto their prey, they hold on.
It's all about energy conservation. The habitat is harsh and food is scarce, so the more energy conserved, the less times they have to eat.
But for the majority of our venomous snakes, they're active hunters. Taipans, brown snakes will aggressively seek out prey, and when they find them down a burrow, in a nest, they'll attack, no question.
It could get a series of bites in. Most likely, it'll be one. These are the snakes with the most confidence in their venom. The prey will be out of there like a rat up a drain pipe, but the snake's supreme senses will already be on its trail.
Before long, the unfortunate victim will succumb to the snake's venom. Now, for most Australian snakes, they have strong neurotoxins that essentially paralyse the prey.
Whatever it is and wherever it falls is where the snake finds its next meal.
When food's scarce and life's tough, energy saved versus effort exerted is critical, as snakes may not get a chance to sink their fangs into another prey item for some time. Here's another thing that'll surprise you. Snakes don't always deliver venom with every bite, and when they don't, it's called a dry bite.
Wasting it on humans is not the best way to utilise valuable venom. A meal may be along straight after. On average, Australia has 2 deaths a year from snakebite. That's from a figure of around 3,000 bites. More people die from honeybee stings in Australia than from these feared yet widely misunderstood creatures.
Having said that, the number of deaths from snakebite is far less than it used to be, and that's thanks to AntiVenom.
Every 2 weeks at the Australian Reptile Park, we milk over 200 snakes for their venom. The venom is then sent off to be made into AntiVenom. It's an important part of our work here because without it, there would be a lot more deaths from snakebite across the country.
We've been supplying venom for over half a century, and it all started with the park founder, Eric Worrell.
Until 1955, the only available snake antivenom came from tiger snakes. It didn't matter if you were bitten by a brown snake or a death adder, that's what you got. But a spat of deaths in the early 1950s from taipan bites saw Eric step up and become the main supplier of taipan venom until an antivenom was released. Subsequently, antivenoms were released for brown snakes and death adder, until a polyvalent antivenom was released that combined snake venoms so that any unidentified bite could be treated across Australia.
The venom we extract here is sent off to the BioCSL in Melbourne to be made into antivenom. Now that's the last for this batch, and it's on its way.
BioCSL got involved with antivenom production in the late 1920s. It was clear then that something had to be done to protect the growing population from the threats that surrounded it. Snakes and spiders get the majority of the bad press, but there's a long list of other deadly species we should also consider. There's jellyfish, octopus, fish, and ants out there that can have just as much of a devastating effect. And you won't believe what animals are helping scientists make the antivenom that saves human lives.
Yes, boy. Hey. At this farm, the species that are involved in anti-venom production are rabbits for funnel web spider, sheep for box jellyfish, and horses which produce anti-venoms for all the land snakes, plus sea snake, redback spider and stonefish.
If we went back to the earliest days of antivenom development, it involved horses, using horses as the animal to immunise with venom to produce antibody. And that remains the dominant technique throughout the world today.
Well, who'd have thought that? So the horses are injected with minute amounts of venom over time, so small that it doesn't have an adverse effect. But what it does do is produce antibodies that counteract the foreign substance in its system. 12 months down the line, blood is taken and the plasma extracted. That contains the antibodies, which, when injected into the snakebite victim, neutralises the venom.
What's happening today is blood's being drawn from the horse and it passes through this apheresis kit machine, which separates red blood cells from plasma. Now the plasma is collected in the bags below, which is used for anti-venom production, and the red blood cells are returned back to the horse during the process. This process takes about 3 hours and 10 to 12 litres is collected from each horse.
Here's our equine anti-venom production plant. It's about 5 days from go to woe in this process. We produce enough anti-venom so that every hospital in Australia, if they need it, has anti-venom available. We make 11 different types of anti-venom here. Anti-venom for black snakes, taipans, death adders, tigers and brown snakes. We also make a polyvalent anti-venom, which is those 5 land snakes combined. The sea snake anti-venom, a funnel web spider anti-venom, a stonefish and a box jellyfish anti-venom.
And all the venom from land snakes comes from the Australian Reptile Park. That's something we're really proud of.
Bites and stinks account, as you guys will see, for a lot of presentations to the emergency department.
The development of antivenoms in Australia started at the Commonwealth Serum Laboratories, then a government laboratory based in Melbourne. So CSL Limited has a long history of involvement in this area. They developed the venom detection test, they developed the first aid technique that is now standard in Australia and is being looked at in other parts of the world. They've been involved in producing guidelines for doctors on managing envenoming around Australia over the last probably 30 plus years.
So in Australia, the number of snake bites that present to hospitals throughout Australia is about 600 a year. The redback spider envenomation, where people come in with quite extensive amount of pain, what we call local sweating, piloerection, where the hairs stand on end, that's the most common presentation to emergency departments that require antivenom.
The typical person thinks that a snake fang is really pretty large. You know, snakes on a plane. This is an African snake, a gaboon viper, very large fangs. That's kind of the preconception that some people have. But many times, because we've got very toxic snakes in Australia that have, generally speaking, pretty short fangs, then a bite may not particularly be noticed by the patient. That's a brown snake fang, the leading cause of death from snake bite. So this says that you can have a person who collapses out in the bush or even at home after a snake bite, unaware that the cause of their illness is a snake bite.
The mortality in Australia as a result of snakebite is about 2 to 3 on average a year, and that's been over the past 10 years. In the past, we had a bit of a peak, and we do see that on occasions when you look at the history in terms of mortality as a result of snakebite.
So there you have it. Without doubt, venom is an Aussie specialty.
The best way not to get bitten is just to give snakes a bit of space. If you see one, leave it alone. Most people are bitten trying to catch the snake or kill the snake. If you happen to get bitten, you really do need to stay calm. That's the golden rule. The faster the heart beats, the more the venom pumps around the body. Further to that, immobilise the limb. Get yourself to hospital. Don't worry about wiping it. They need that venom there to test what snake it was if you're not sure. Even if you don't know if it was a python or a venomous snake, get to the hospital and you'll be right.